These are 7 credit cards that a lot of people overlook. Why is that? Well, a lot of these cards are actually overshadowed by other credit cards that come from the same issuer, and a lot of them actually have no fees, which for some reason people associate with how good a credit card is. But jumping right into things today, our first credit card on the list is going to be the American Express Blue Cash Everyday. Now this card comes with no annual fee and is loaded with tons of value and actually has statement credits, which I don't think people talk about enough. Now oftentimes other Amex cards are overshadowed by the Amex Gold and Amex Platinum, which are certainly great cards, but a lot of the no-fee Amex cards aren't talked about. Now, if your focus is just getting straight cash back and you aren't really focused on transfer partners or travel, I would actually go as far as making the argument that this card is better than our Gold and Platinum cards. If you are more concerned with travel, then maybe not as much. But the reason I love this card is you can get 3% cash back on our online retail purchases in the US, on our grocery purchases, and on our gas purchases. Now you can get 1% cash back everywhere else, but that 3% cash back you can get on our online retail, which most people shop online, and our groceries and gas, which most people are going to be paying for, I think that makes this card really stand out. And truthfully, the only thing missing from this card is really just a dining element to get 3% back there. If it had that, I think a lot more people would be carrying this credit card. As I mentioned earlier, there's also going to be statement credits for this credit card, which is very uncommon for no-fee cards to have. With this Blue Cash Everyday, you're going to receive an $84 Disney bundle credit, which is going to be broken up into 12 $7 statement credit. You're also going to get a $180 Home Chef bundle credit, which means this card with no fee is going to give us $264 of statement credits. And here's something I would recommend for a lot of people that might not want to spend with the card. You can just get this card, spend with it occasionally, and just take advantage of those statement credits, especially that Disney one, as a lot of people do pay for Disney Plus. And just a couple smaller features with the card, you're going to have access to Amex events, Amex special offers. There's going to be a car rental loss and damage insurance if you are traveling. There's going to be more protections. Hands down, a very powerful card for having no fee. The big drawback though with this credit card, you are going to be earning your cash back in the form of Amex Rewards dollars. Those are not the same as Amex points that you'll earn on your Gold and Platinum cards. And I alluded to this earlier, you are not going to have much flexibility with these rewards dollars. It is just for straight cash back. This means I can't use this credit card, rack up a ton of cash back, then take those to my Platinum card, say, and use the Amex transfer partners. Those rewards dollars are not going to be the same as the points. You can only take it for cash back. Moving on to our second credit card today, it's also going to be one with no annual fee, except this one will actually be able to give us access to transfer partners, and it's going to be the Wells Fargo Autograph Credit Card. And that is not the reason that this card landed a spot on today's list. The big reason is actually because of the spending categories that are included. With the Wells Fargo Autograph Card, you're going to have access to earn 3 times points back at 6 key categories. This is going to include 3 times points back at restaurants, on your travel, on gas purchases, on your transit, popular streaming services, and on your cell phone plans. And just like the Blue Cash Everyday, I love that you can earn elevated cash back at some of the most common spend categories. A lot of no-fee cards out there might just give you on dining or one other thing. There really is a great variety. I love the elevated cash back on your cell phone plans. That's something you really won't see on a lot of other cards. And just some smaller details about the card, you're also going to have a cell phone protection plan, auto rental collision damage waiver, access to travel and emergency services with a roadside dispatch. The card's going to give us access to Wells Fargo deals with some elevated cash back at a variety of pop-up places. There's going to be a zero liability protection on this card. There's going to be some special Wells Fargo entertainment offers, and there's going to be no foreign transaction fees with the credit card. There's going to be some Visa signature collection perks, but finally, you're going to have access to some Wells Fargo transfer partners. Now, Wells Fargo is newer to the transfer partner game with a total of 6 partners, 5 airlines, and 1 hotel. And I know that this list is quite limited compared to other issuers out there like American Express, Chase, Capital One. They'll have the high teens to even into the 20s for options for you to transfer to. But with Wells Fargo, I love that you have access with a no-fee card that also does give you a great amount of cash back at a great amount of places. But now let's jump over to our third card on today's list, and it's going to be the Citi Custom Cash. I know that there are a lot of people out there that are familiar with this card, but in my opinion, it is probably the best flex and utility card on the entire market. What you need to know about this card is that it has no annual fee, and with it, you can earn 5% cash back at your highest eligible spend category every single billing cycle. This means if I spend a lot on groceries, I can earn 5% cash back on that. Or maybe I spend a lot on my gas, I can lock up 5% cash back there. This card is so versatile and you have so much flexibility with it. Two smaller notes, you're going to be able to earn 1% cash back on all of your other purchases that are not in that highest spend category. And also you are going to be limited to that 5% cash back on the first $500 spent on that spend category. Now, this probably won't be a big issue for a lot of people, but let's say I was planning on making a huge purchase for $3,000 for some new piece of equipment for yard work or something like that. I won't be able to get 5% on $3,000. That would be super nice. I will be stopped at that 5% for that first $500 of that purchase. Now, how I would recommend using this card to get the most value for it is designate it each month for how you will use it. Typically, it could be the same thing each and every month. If I know I spend a lot on groceries, go lock up 5% cash back there. But let's say I'm typically using it for groceries and have a trip coming up, and I'm gonna be spending a lot of my gas as I'm driving. Well, I can then say, I'm gonna put a hold on my grocery purchases here, and I'll just use this card temporarily for 1 month for gas, as that will be my highest spend category. I would not recommend getting this card and using it for everything. I think as a standalone card, the Citi Custom Cash is not really that great of a credit card. I do think though that when paired up with 1 or 2 other credit cards, it becomes one of the best cards out there on the market. And some other smaller perks for having this credit card, there's going to be a theft protection, $0 liability, protection against unauthorized purchases, tools to help you work on your credit score, and maybe there isn't as much packed in this card that we see with other credit cards typically, but there's still so much value there that I do think it's worth picking up. But now let's move on to our 4th credit card on today's list, and this is going to be the Capital One Savor One. So the Savor One is also a no annual fee card, and I'm sure you're starting to see a theme in today's list. But I promise you, we will talk about cards with fees a little bit later on. But with the Savor One, you're gonna have high amounts of cash back at some great spending categories, again, just inside of a different ecosystem. With this credit card, you can earn 5% cash back on your rental cars and hotels purchased through Capital One. You can earn 3% cash back on dining, entertainment, popular streaming services, and at grocery stores. You'll also be able to earn 1% cash back everywhere else. Additionally, right now there's a special promotion where you can earn 10% back on all of your Uber purchases and actually get your Uber One membership paid for up through November 2024. With this card, you can also earn 8% cash back on your entertainment when purchased through Capital One. This card is loaded with great spending categories, but a huge reason I do like it, you have open doors moving forward. By this, I mean, if I want to then expand and use these points for travel later on, I can then pick up the Venture X and I will have all these points I've earned with the Savor One that I can transfer over to that card. With the Savor One by itself, you're not going to be able to use the Capital One transfer partners, but picking up one of the venture cards will let you later down and you can merge those points. I really like this as yes, I could still take it for cash back in the meantime, but maybe I do know that in 3 years I want to travel, I can start accumulating points for that too. Then some smaller perks about this credit card, there's going to be no foreign transaction fees. There's a complimentary concierge service, an extended warranty, travel assistance services, travel accident insurance. There's a purchase protection, Capital One shopping access to Capital One travel portal, and you can also get 50% off all handcrafted beverages in any Capital One cafe nationwide. This card's gonna have a $0 fraud liability and some other fraud protections built into it. Hands down, one of the best cards that a lot of people overlook. But this is gonna take us to our 5th card on today's list, which is gonna be the American Express Blue Cash Preferred, not to be confused with the Blue Cash Everyday we saw earlier. And with this card, you're gonna have no annual fee during your first year of holding it. After that though, you'll have a $95 annual fee. And these spending categories on this card are absolutely fantastic. You can get 6% cash back on your groceries, 6% cash back on streaming services, 3% back on your transit, 3% on your gas, and 1% cash back everywhere else. So these categories are very, very similar to the Blue Cash Everyday, just with higher amounts that you can earn. Also included with this card is going to be that same $84 Disney bundle credit, which is going to be broken up into monthly $7 credits. You're going to have access to special Amex offers, a car rental damage loss insurance. There's a purchase protection, return protection, and extended warranty. And the big downside to this card is the same that we saw with the Blue Cash Everyday. When you do earn cash back, it is going to be in the form of those Amex Rewards dollars, which is limiting if you do want to use for travel later on. You're not going to have that opportunity. So although with the number, you're going to be earning more than say the Amex Gold can give you, you're earning 6% here versus 4 times points. Having the opportunity to take points later down the road, you can get more value for travel. Once again though, if your concern is just cash back, it is a fantastic option, but I don't want people to go get this card expecting to have flexibility for travel. But now moving on to our 6th credit card on today's list, and being one of my personal favorite credit cards, it's going to be the Bilt Mastercard. Now, similar to other cards on today's list, I'm sure that a lot of you have heard of the Bilt card, but for those that have not, the Bilt card is a no annual fee credit card, and it's the only one on the entire market to let you earn cash back on your rent with no extra transaction fees. And this is one of the cards that I do carry and I use on a frequent basis. It covers me for my rent. In the past year, I've earned $180 cash back by just having my rent paid for with this credit card. So admittedly, the spending categories on this card are not super great. You can get 3 times points on your dining, 2 times points on all travel, 1 times points elsewhere, and 1 times points on your rent. There is a special perk that Bilt runs where on the first day of every month as a rent day celebration, all those categories will double except for your rent. So maybe I can plan out a big trip, book it on the first just to double the amount of points I do get. But a huge perk about having these points, Bilt points are actually valued at the highest or right around the highest on the entire market, right up there with likes of Chase and American Express. So for a no-fee card to give you that much value, that's pretty impressive. The card's also going to give you some travel perks like a trip cancellation and interruption insurance, trip delay reimbursement, auto rental collision waiver. There's no foreign transaction fees, as well as some Lyft credits. There's going to be a cell phone protection, a purchase security, and you're going to have access to some MasterCard World Elite perks. There's also methods to help you protect your credit score so you don't have a high utilization for your rent. This is called Bilt Protect, and basically it will work by just taking money right out of your account, like almost like a debit card, as opposed to putting on a statement and then having that close, having a high utilization. But one thing that I will mention, this card does give you access to transfer partners with 17 total ones, and I really do like them. I think that they're some of the best ones out there on the market. So in total, there's gonna be 17, like I said, 13 are gonna be for airlines, and 4 are gonna be for hotels. And with the high value from the points you're gonna be earning, there's a ton of opportunities to travel. The big downside though, you're not gonna be earning as many points with this card just because of the limit in spending categories, whereas with the Amex system or Chase, you have better opportunities to earn more. And one smaller note about this card that is a drawback in my opinion, you're gonna need to spend with it 5 times each month to be able to actually earn points. You can't just get this card and use it only for rent, otherwise people would just do that. You're gonna have to make 4 other purchases. That's really not hard to do, but can sometimes be kind of an inconvenience if you are trying to maximize all your cash back. But I've been carrying the Bilt card for over a year now, and my personal opinion is it's a great credit card. And this is gonna take us to our 7th and final card on today's list, actually being the newest one on the list today with the Wells Fargo Attune credit card. So there's certainly been a lot of attention shined towards the Wells Fargo Attune recently. It's a no-fee card with opportunities to earn 4% back at some of the weirdest but also best spending categories you can get. So these spending categories are going to be for self-care, select sports, recreation, and entertainment, as well as impactful purchases. Now those are pretty unique. It's not like dining or groceries, so let's inspect those a little bit more. Those self-care purchases can include spas, gyms, barbershops, and so much more. Sports, recreation, and entertainment category can include things focused on collecting or creating, gardening and floral, recreation and leisure activities, pet care, sports and recreation equipment, entertainment, streaming, music, books. There's so much here. Go over to the website, read up on it, as I really do like the variety this card gives you. Then for those impactful purchases, they're gonna be more planet friendly. You can earn 4% cash back at these. Some examples include antique shops, bus lines, thrift stores, EV charging stations, anything with a focus on being impactful towards the world. That's basically where you can lock up 4%. And once again, like I said, these are some very different spending categories. I really like them, especially like that pet care. That's something that's very unique. I know with sports, recreation, and entertainment, like that's something that's not typical. Be sure to go check these out. Really look into this card, as I think for the right person, this can bring a ton of cash back. And then some smaller perks with the card. There's going to be a cell phone protection, Mastercard services and protections, zero liability protection. There's an auto rental damage collision waiver with this card, a concierge service, access to the Mastercard travel services, and access to those Wells Fargo deals as well for some more cash back. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that adding any one of these 7 cards to your lineup can bring a ton of value and more cash back, no matter what situation you're in. I did focus more so on no-fee cards. I do like those. A lot of people overlook them, and they are often overshadowed for no real reason. But be sure to check them out. I'll have a lot of in-depth reviews on each card down below in the description. If you guys could also take a second, hit like, and consider subscribing if you found any info useful today. It goes a really long way in helping me grow the channel. I greatly appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you in the next video.